What would you say was the main influence that you had? Then obviously Italo's one, and then obviously metal's another one. Is there any sort of other genres that you would draw from, lyrically or musically?
Obviously electro and techno.
And disco as well, in the sort of traditional sense. Yeah.
I mean, how did you form the band? Like, where did that come from? Like, obviously I've heard a few different versions of the story.
We were both really into Italo at the time that we formed the band. I mean, like, really
Kind of,
fanatical.
yeah, life-changing.
It was, yeah. So I think it was a shared love of that at the time, but of course since then we've kind of developed in our areas as well. You know, I don't know, we've got lots of ideas for the second album that will be very different to the first. So.
You've got an EP out, so is that very different to sort of the first album, whereas the first album, Blood Plough, very sort of quite simple for like it's mainly like the songs have quite simple melodies, the beats are very driven, the lyrics are very sort of like repetitive and hooky. Like is the second EP sort of an exploration of that, or does it push further past that?
No, it continues the concept of the album. What will very likely change dramatically is the new material that we're going to be writing soon for the second album.
Is the new material heavier or lighter, or is it more accessible?
We don't know yet.
Anything, but
definitely, I mean, feels like we will be going
more sort of slightly more organic, maybe less abrasive.
and yeah, maybe other textures and vocals and tones and general tones of the song.
I mean, you both have degrees in musical production, is that right?
Sound art and
sound.
art.
And is that sort of like really helpful when it comes to sort of creating music, or did you have the knowledge before doing that, like to make this music and sort of the drive to make this music, or without the sort of background that you have, would this have been really difficult?
I think it's helped us with a few production techniques, but in terms of musical writing, nothing helped at all.
Yeah.
So at least drawing from experience.
I really like Poison as well.
Oh,
Have you ever done that one live?
yeah, we used to do it all the time.
We used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Gonna bring that one back for this tour, maybe? Possibly?
Probably not, because it's not ready with the drummer.
Yeah.
We've
There's
got Joe now.
a few tracks ready with the drummer.
Rubbish. Can't you just learn it on the fly? Can't you just learn it on the backhand?
The restrictions of that.
No, that's true. I mean, how long's Joe been in the band for? On drums?
A couple of months.
Yeah, a couple of months. This is probably Joe's 6th or 7th.
And how's that changed the live dynamic? I mean, obviously, the show is quite sort of focused around like Sebastian as frontman and sort of the things that you do. I mean, has the drummer sort of made that dynamic more difficult, easier? Like, does it feel like it's a band situation more than a sort of
I think it's easier.
playing to a backing track sort of thing?
Definitely makes it easier.
Yeah.
And I think it gels the band a bit more. I think.
Yeah, it
looks more like a band.
Yeah, because before it was kind of either like a versus situation or just
like the
a
videos
black
I
and
would
white.
see were sort of just you two both stood sort of parallel to each other.
Yeah.
Ali on synths and then Sebastian like doing what Sebastian does best.
Yeah, but,
I mean,
but the drummer.
Having Joe, there's
The drummer sort of made it a more band dynamic.
formation.
I mean, does that make it easier on stage? Like, is the sound better on stage from that? I mean, is that effective? I mean, would you, for instance, like now that you've sort of got in this experience, would you go away and maybe write some tracks with Joe in mind?
Absolutely.
Or maybe write some tracks with Joe?
Totally.
Yeah, definitely right. Track with organic drums on mind, and also the second pedal, which is with triggers.
Guitars coming in and things as
Yeah.
well. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
is that likely? Is that sort of more a reference again to metal, or is that sort of a,
Not necessarily.
is that going to be sort of slightly post-punk sounding, or?
Post-punk and disco.
Post-punk, disco,
It's
yeah.
probably it's more likely to be about help than metal in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we might have the.
But
Some chugging with.
I'm sure we're going to thrash out at some point.
No, that's
Yeah.
exciting. I mean, Joe's really Joe can do the sort of blast beats
Absolutely.
Yeah.
brilliantly.
Yes.
Another thing that I wanted to ask as well about lyrics, like the lyric. Well, there's a lot of wars, a lot of write-ons in a lot of the songs on the Heartbreak album that I've noticed.
Indeed.
Is that conscious, or is that some sort of like when you say those words or phrases, is that like an empowering phrase to say to you? Is it important to you, for instance, like? I mean, I know that the wars obviously don't represent. I mean, I mean, I don't feel like they represent anything in the lyrics. I mean, they're just like a vocal melody, but do they represent anything to you? Like, is there a reason for them to be there? Is it a conscious choice?
Generally, to
Or is
me,
it just
it feels,
that living?
it's no.
Just sounds good.
To me, it feels a bit like that, like a warrior's chant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of tribal, and it's about it's about the fight that we seem to be liberating all against the mainstream or something.
Finally, my final question is the corporate question. How did it feel to be on the NME Radar Tour?
It's amazing. No, it's so good.
No, it really is. It's a fantastic. It's our best tour.